I guess I've got to ask you about Cross Counter. You know, a lot of fans out there, a big fan myself. Couple of questions really. First is, what's going on with Cross Counter Live?
Cross Counter Live is currently on hiatus. I can't really go too much into detail about like specifics. You know, like I'm the type of person that wants to make sure that everything that we do serves a purpose. Cross Counter Live, when we were doing it at the stream.tv, served a purpose, but at the same time may have been a little overkill. There was definitely a point between season 1 and season 2 where I did not want to continue with season 2 because I didn't feel like it was worth it in terms of the amount of time, effort, and resources it took compared to the amount of income that it brought in, which it was not very much. Surprise! Surprise! There's no money when you do things like that. The money is elsewhere. Things that were going down over there at the stream, I don't know, it seemed like it would be best to start producing it in-house again. I mean, you know, between myself and the rest of our team, we have the technical know-how in order to produce all of our stuff every single time with no exceptions. So if the production side seems to be more trouble than it's worth, they're not really working out, I have 100% faith in myself and my team that we're able to produce something that is of a comparable level. I mean, we were the ones, Cross Counter started because we were able to produce our own stuff. So just because we're not shooting in a big fancy studio, I don't know, does that change things? I don't know, maybe. I mean, in my mind, that was only there to create this illusion that we were really doing, I don't know, that we were on this upper echelon of video gaming celebrity, but who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything if we're not able to use that as leverage to, let's say, get the bills paid, right? Like, it's not like because we were able to do this fancy show where we have, you know, several thousand people watching concurrent, that doesn't mean that we have any sort of interest in that any sort of sponsors or whatever are coming to us and trying to bang down the door. It's like, well, how is this really helping? You know? I mean, you know, hey, it was a great opportunity. It was a lot of fun. But I mean, just because we don't do it at the studio anymore doesn't mean, in my mind, doesn't mean anything. Because we could do the show anywhere because we used to do it in my bedroom. You know, like, who cares?
I want to ask you another question about Cross Counter, and that is, obviously you branched out with Cross Counter Asia, so the franchise was getting bigger. Have you had any thoughts about Cross Counter Europe, Cross Counter UK, Cross Counter East Coast? I don't know, is there any sort of more expansion plans?
I mean, there's always expansion in the works, but I mean, we kind of learned a very valuable lesson about expanding because we tried to expand to another area and it didn't quite work out the way that we expected because at the time we just didn't have the resources and mindshare to dedicate to kind of make sure that it was going to be successful. So we kind of failed pretty hard on that, and a lot of that was my fault. So like before we go into expanding, it's like we got to make sure that everything on our end with the main Cross Counter channel and as well as with Cross Counter Asia, we have to make sure that we are doing as best we can, and we kind of create a plan or a system before we start to expand and franchise. But I mean, of course, you know, like it would be great to have, you know, Cross Counter everywhere. Cross Counter Mars, Cross Counter the Moon. You know, that, of course.
I'd watch Cross Counter Mars. Yeah. They've got some pretty sick players, I hear.
Of course.
Every time I try to think what you're going to do next, it's always something bigger. Like I honestly think you're planning to take over the world. Is that true?
Don't tell anybody.
Is there anything in the works that you want to give away, or?
I mean, I can't really say too much. Our goal with Cross Counter is to produce and curate the best content possible, whether it's fighting games or other stuff. I mean, you know, like, part of the issue with the whole fighting game thing is that I don't...
You know what? I was going to ask you if you were going to expand out of fighting games.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the process of expanding into streaming live music. So we've been working with an event in downtown Los Angeles called Shakedown. You know, it's electronic dance music, and we handle the stream for it every month. So I mean, that is the direction that I also want to go into, because I feel like there's so many factors that are completely out of my control with fighting games that there's a strong possibility that it will get to where it's going, but there's no guarantee that I will be in the position that I should be in order to make sure that it goes to where I think it should go. So, and there's no guarantee that I'll make it there anyways. So, in my mind, it's like good to have like a backup plan, because I mean, to be honest, live music streaming is completely wide open right now. You have the large music festivals like Coachella and Ultra, and most recently Tomorrowland, and they've had really nice streams, but you know, at the lower levels you really don't see it at all. And if people, I think we have proven that people will watch people playing video games for money for hours and hours and hours, and we found like this tiny niche market. But I find it hard to believe that there's not even more people that would love nothing more than to watch their favorite DJs and bands or whoever play live at some other part of the country that they just don't live in. So I think that that's going to be really large. So I mean, I guess we're kind of dipping our toes in there. It's going to be kind of a long process though, for sure. I mean, but you know, it's really good because I've been able to leverage, you know, like a lot of the work that we've done at Cross Counter into building these relationships in the music business, because you know, like, we have a very large body of work, and you know, it's kind of easy to, like, we didn't just show up, you know, like, we've been here just in another industry. So maybe that's where things are going.
So we're going to see you and Mike dancing on Cross Counter the next episode of Cross Counter. That's all it's going to be. It's just going to be music and you dancing.
Exactly. Exactly. It'll just be 5 cameras on me and Mike, just
Matrix style.
Yeah, exactly.
So would you give a shout out to my subscribers on BornFree TV?
Thank you.
There's only 2 of them, and one's my mum. So actually, I don't want you to give a shout out to my mum. So if you could give a shout out to the other one, that'd be great.
Shout outs to the other subscriber of BornFree TV that's not Mark's mom.
All right. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Peace out.